Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on KUTV Primetime News. We are streaming this live on our social media platforms on Facebook, KUTV Kenya, and on Twitter, KUTV_Kenya. You can tell us what to think about the bulletin. Right to the discussion. Now, the holiday season is slowly fading, and with a flip to the new year comes with a lot of changes that needs quick actions to get over the January blues. Time and again, the first month of the year has been labeled as the toughest, with the talks of financial challenges dominating any discourse. That forms the basis of our discussion tonight, and joining us is Isha Dunga, a financial consultant, enlightening us how to sail through the tough financial time of the year. So, Mr. Dunga,
yes,
thank you so much for dedicating your time for this discussion.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate.
Right now, into the discussion of the night. The holiday season is now, fading away, coming to an end. And people have spent a good amount of money over the festive season, and they are coming to the sad reality that the January is a tough time. So how best should people prepare for these tough times? How best can they adjust to the tough reality of the January blues?
That is quite impressive to hear that people have spent a lot of money. Definitely, I would wish to say that. I would have wished to advise people before they would have gone for the holiday and spent beyond maybe what they had expected to spend. But now that, assuming that people have spent beyond their plans, they have gone, past what they had already, have, or what they expected to have spent. Now the question would be, how would we be able to advise and be able to help them adjust now to the oncoming reality? One thing that I would wish to enlighten the Kenyans is that when it comes to personal finance, there are a lot of things that we need to put into considerations. And for this particular show and for this matter, I would want to give people what we call CEO. C being standing for cost cutting. Now, you went for the holiday and maybe you did not plan to meet somebody sick at home, and then maybe being asked for some finances to be able to assist this person. In that particular perspective, you probably spent overboard. So when you come back to the city, or when you start now this life as we are going to cross to the new year, number one, exercise the cost cutting. Do not spend on unnecessary items. Do not spend on things that do not add value. This is now not the time now to even add more clothes now. You've realized that it's now going to make you even more poorer and even more depressed. Number two, CE. Now the E part now is now look at how you can earn more. Now, when you're looking at how you can earn more, that would mean you'd exercise a lot of aggressiveness with your income. If at all you're someone who is probably in business, then this is the time to intensify your marketing. If you're someone who is on employment, then this is the time to look for some other side hustles that cannot be able to derail you from your main hustle. If you are someone probably who is looking for more opportunities, this is the time to redouble your efforts and reach more people. And then optimizing your optimizing your spending. Now, optimizing your spending, that means when you are going to spend on school fee, do not put everything on school fee. When you are going to spend on on travels, and when you choose the cheaper means of travels, when you are going to spend on probably very mandatory lunches that you have to probably undertake, then select those type of lunches that are not going to take you backward, but are going to at least make you survive through. So I can be able to give you 3 components of adjustory, way to come to the reality of this. Cost cutting, earn more, and then optimizing your spending.
Impressive about that. Now, there are higher chances that people will be opting to get loans to salvage the situation now from the financial institutions, from the banks, from the SACCOs. What are the advisable, probably institutions that people will be opting for this option of getting loans? What are the advisable institutions probably where they can get, the short loans? What would you advise on that?
Definitely, before even reaching the level whereby you're going to start now asking for the loans, one thing I would wish to, enlighten people is that you shouldn't ask for a loan for matters of consumption. Ask for a loan for matters of investment. That is a key takeaway that we need to have. So as we take these loans, let us focus on things that are going to add value and also probably increase our income in the future.
Right.
So something like education, go for a loan for that education. Something like, let's say, adding more skills in the trainings, like your personal training, get the loans. But when you want to now take a loan for your consumption, like food in the house and all that, it is not actually making better sense. However, now that there are those who might have to go for these loans, so the question is, which institutions that are advisable, you can be able to advise people to go for?
Sure.
Number one, if it were possible, I would advise you to go to your employer. If your employer can advance you. Your employer, number one, is a very soft, it's a soft face. You'll be able to understand that he has not gotten that money in order to refund. He's the one to pay you so that you can refund that money.
Yes.
So if it is possible, go to your employer to fund you or to give you that advance. If that is not possible, that your employer can be able to give you that, then you have to go back to now the place where your financial manager or the institution that is keeping or receiving your finances. They say you're keeping your money with the bank, so you have to approach your bank for an overdraft. And then you have to understand the products that are being offered by these banks. Sometimes you can go for a particular product that is quite expensive, which is going to derail you. And especially in this January, this is the worst time to take a loan.
Sure.
Simply because you're going to exercise spending that you had not planned for before. So I would insist in your personal finance knowledge, plan and budget for any kind of a future expenditure. So that by the time you are getting into January, it doesn't really come like a shock.
Sure.
It is something that you already expected and you understood whatever you are going to do in that particular month.
Right. So
go to your employer. If your employer cannot be able to advance you, then go to your bank that normally, receive your money or keep your money. If you're someone that is banking with a SACCO, the better.
Right.
Because SACCOs are normally cheaper. Because they're not like banks. They give you at least cheaper options, and they also give emergencies. So depending on the type of product you're going to choose in your SACCO, I can advise you that you go for the product that you think you can be able to fund. And when you're going for this loan, consider your income, the ability to pay, how long it's going to take you, and then do it with regards to your future plans.
Right. Now, in the beginning of every year, we've always seen people making resolutions that probably by the end of the year, I would want to have, I would have to have achieved this. But when you ask them how they want to achieve this, people tend to, neglect the financial aspect of it, that I would have saved, I would have probably, started a business or done what and what to make me achieve the dream that I have by the end of the year. So what is the simplest, financial advice you would give people who are making the New Year resolutions? What is most practical and very simple but most practical that people can also put it as part of that resolutions that they are making to achieve something at the end of the year?
Wonderful. I think I love that. I'm one person that is always looking ahead into the new year. Reason being, I normally like putting my plans early enough so that by the time I cross the year, I already know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and then the expected results. Now, when it comes to the New Year resolutions, people make resolutions. There is the spiritual resolutions, there is economic resolutions, there is also physical resolutions, like how do you want to build your health, and how do you want to make your to exercise probably in your body and all that. Then now there is the financial resolution. Now when it comes to financial resolution, I want to give you again another 3 components. Now in the financial resolution, you have to understand one thing, that you're dealing with money, and money, understand these 3 aspects. There is the making money, there is the managing that money, and then there is multiplying that money. So when you understand this concept, you will be able to find it easier to make a very simple, straightforward, and smart resolution. Now, when it comes to making money, you have to resolve. How are you going to make money? Are you going to make money through employment? Are you going to make money through business? because definitely those are two possible ways in which you can be able to make money. Although there are others that are illegal, like stealing. Yes, but in this case we are talking about the ways that are legal, that are acceptable within the norms of our society. Now, when it comes to that perspective, when you have chosen that you're going to make money through employment, for that matter, then you must understand that your employment is going to earn you like 100,000 every month. Then you must plan yourself with regards to 100,000, right? And then at the same time, you must be able to look at the best way to manage, that money that you're going to earn.
Right.
And I need to tell you one thing, that when it comes to managing that finances, you must understand, how are you going to do your spending? How are you going to optimize that expenses? How are you going to ensure that you're not going to overspend? You're not going to live beyond your means.
Right.
You're not going to do things that are going to make you experience, financial woes that are going to make you feel, uncomfortable at the end of the day. And then when it comes to the last part, is now multiplying, the money.
Right.
So you have to make the resolution. Now that I have made my money, I have managed it, then how am I going to make sure that it multiplies in the future? You understand?
Right.
So when it comes to that perspective, that is where you now look at the investing opportunities. How am I going to invest in order to multiply this money? In which particular sectors? Where are you feeling comfortable? Which places are safer for you? Are you a risk taker or a risk averse? Are you this person that can be able to invest in things that are going to, even in agriculture? So with regards to that particular, ideology, you are able to make smart resolutions. And in that perspective, let your resolution in terms of finances be very specific.
Right.
After being specific, if you're going to make the money, talk of I'm going to make 100,000 every month, then let it be something that is measurable. So you can be able to state it's 100,000. And then it's something that is also achievable. You cannot say you're going to make 10 million when your current income is at 50,000.
Right.
You must be realistic.
Sure.
Then you must also be time bound. After how long are you going to do that? So in that resolution, you must be smart in it, but take into aspect 3 principles: the money making, the money managing, and the money multiplying.
Very impressive. Now, there is also this set of people we could we could talk about the fresh graduates.
Yes.
And most of these fresh graduates, there are people who might not be having a stable income, and they also need to survive through the tough times of the year, starting from the January probably throughout to December. There is no guarantee that they will be getting jobs. They will be getting probably a stable income source, but they also need to survive, of course, the tough times. What will be your advice to them?
I think this is very, very important question that every graduate outside there should be able to pay attention to.
Right.
And as once upon a time I was a graduate, and I know some of the challenges that I went through before I became stable. And one thing that we should be able to understand is that when you graduate, there are high expectations,
Sure.
Very high expectations. Probably you come out of the Kenyatta University, you've done your Bachelor of Commerce, and then you've specialized in accounting. And then you get this notion that every organization must have an accountant whatsoever. But you see, you forget that as we speak, there is an accountant. Yes, you are coming out, you're graduating, but already there is an accountant in that place.
Right.
So one thing that graduates should be able to understand is that, yes, we expect to get jobs in the future when we graduate or when we come out of school, but there are chances that it might delay. So how do you ensure that during the delayed period, you are getting prepared and also surviving during that tough times? Number one, ensure that you sharpen your skills.
Right.
If you are an accountant, sharpen that accounting skills through doing probably voluntary jobs. And most of the people nowadays who have realized this have really gone very far.
Right.
Personally, I volunteered to work as account assistant intern for free when I was just almost finishing the university. And sometimes I would come from Lower Kabete, from the University of Nairobi, and then go up to Westlands on foot, because I wanted to go and learn on how to do this. That's an opportunity that I got.
Right.
But I find it's very difficult for most graduates to volunteer and sharpen their skills.
Sure.
So number one, sharpen your skills so that when you go to look for an employment, you have got something to present on the table.
Right.
I want to tell graduates out there that it is a very great sacrifice, an employer employing someone who is fresh from school with no experience, because you're going to spend time and money to be able to train this person.
Sure.
So graduates should understand that. Number two, once you've sharpened your skills, be expert in that you want to do. By sharpening your skills, it leads you to being an expert.
Right.
Even before you get to that employment, level, you will become someone who is better and hone your skills in such a manner that if an opportunity arises anytime, anyhow, you can be able to survive. Number two, in the expertise, you can be able to offer certain small services within your area, even if you're not employed. And I will give you an example. Probably like yourself, you'll say maybe you're an engineer,
right,
and then you're an engineer that is, let's say, specializing in the roadworks. Then when you hone your skills in that particular area, during that process, something can come.
Right.
And then you get involved and do it well. By the time when you're doing that, I'm telling you, you will be getting to interact with people, potential people that can offer you the jobs. You will be able to understand the dynamics and the aspects of that.
Right.
And then your expertise will earn you definitely a job.
Yeah.
Then lastly, let graduates not to be choosy when it comes to the works to be done.
Right.
Number one, the primary reason as to why we are existing is, first of all, to survive. We are existing to exist.
Sure.
Yeah. So before you go to any other thing like my dream, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this state of the art, consultant, I want to be. You are first of all there to survive.
Right.
So before that one comes, before being that top lawyer comes, and then I've got a teaching opportunity.
Right.
Go teach. If I have got some internship position, I want to tell you, recently, actually not even last week, I advertised a position of a sales intern, and I said that I'm going to give 10,000 Kenya shillings.
Right.
Then people are commenting on my page that 10,000 is too small. This is, how can somebody survive on 10,000? But you see, these people that are commenting are not graduates.
Sure.
These are people that are working. Some of them I know very well.
Right.
But the graduates are also taking that, opportunity to also question the validity and the authenticity and also the goodness and the quality of the 10,000 and the job itself. One graduate actually took a phone call and called me that you've also said you're going to give commission. How much? Look at how uncouth it is. Because you are a graduate, you don't have any experience, and somebody is offering you an opportunity to learn and understand somehow the market. But then you are asking, how much is the commission? That amount you're offering is too small. How do you negotiate for money when you're bringing zero experience on the table?
Right.
So that is that is something that we should understand. Graduates should understand one thing, that let them be equipped with information first, with the knowledge, with the experience, then they can be able to negotiate. But before that, just take whatever comes on your way. First of all, to survive.
To survive.
Then now pursue your dream in the process.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, there is an interesting story that we read about you concerning border riders that are turning their weekly savings into 3.3 million kitty. Yeah. So I'd really wish that you also enlighten us on this, how small moves can make such a great difference. Sure. In about 2 minutes.
All right. Sometime. Okay. Thank you so much. I think I'm really impressed that you went through and I checked that I'm part of that. Before I got a formal employment, I was a border rider, and I think this one should go down to the people. They should understand that when things are still tough, you must be able to take up any job. And therefore, I want to tell you that I was a border rider, and then I joined there. By joining that place, now we formed this group, and then after forming this group, now we started putting our funds together.
Right.
And I need to tell you that putting funds together is now bringing us the concept of crowdfunding. You pull your finances together, guarantee each other, and then be able now to do a good investment. Yes, I am in charge of that group based in Kitengela,
Right.
and we are doing a lot of marvelous works. We have given loans up to about 6 million, and people are really growing and becoming and expanding and becoming much, much better. So when you pull your funds together, we pull 300 shillings every month, and I can tell, every week, and I can tell you it is doing us marvelous works. Yes.
Impressive.
Yes.
Probably now, as we end up this discussion,
Yes.
do you wish to tell us about your company, Ecovest?
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind it, and in your pursuits, how do you intend to use it to change the world?
Wonderful. Now, I have a company called Ecovest Consultants Limited, which is basically a finance, business, and property consulting firm. We formed this company for the purpose of wealth creation. It came to our attention that most companies struggle in their finance department.
Right.
And sometimes stakeholders find it very difficult to make decisions because they do not have the correct financial position and the way in which they can be able to handle the decisions they want to make, because they don't have correct financial records that they are keeping. And apart from that one, there are also certain investing opportunities that many kind of organizations want to invest in, but they don't understand how they can be able to go about it.
Right.
There are also compliance issues like the taxes that are supposed to be paid by to the government, which many organizations make a lot of mistakes. And so one thing that inspired me to be able to begin this organization is to ensure that we could be able to transform most of the organizations that are dealing with their products, dealing in their course of operations, to transform them in terms of their finances, to make them become aware on how they can do well in terms of bookkeeping, record keeping, tax compliances, and investing opportunities that are available. And therefore, I want to say that this company is looking forward to ensuring that we train organizations, we do their outsourced accounting, we help them do their taxes and ensure that the taxes are correct and also complying to the correct procedures that are provided by the acts of the parliament. And so we look forward into ensuring that organizations become straightforward in terms of their financial consultancy, financial status, in terms of their ways of doing things.
Right.
So Ecovest is there to assist companies in order to achieve their goals. And that is why our motto is wealth creation.
Wealth creation.
So we help organizations create their wealth,
Right.
realize your dreams. Concentrate in terms of your products, whatever that you're doing, but leave your finances to us. We will advise you perfectly. We've done it,
Right.
and we are going very far. We have done it with several big companies.
Right.
I can assure you that.
All right, that's really impressive, Dunga, for that. And maybe there is a point you mentioned about, you trying to incorporate the fresh graduates into the work. You give them the practical skills that are required.
Yes.
You still have opportunities for graduates who probably, maybe which kind of internship do you offer to your place?
Yes, I offer finance, accounting. Those people that have done accounting, we offer them opportunities there so that they can be able to learn hands-on experience in terms of accounting. Those people that have specialized in finance, we give them that opportunity. Even those people that are in marketing. In fact, I can be able to tell you that as at now, I've got an opportunity for an accounting intern. So an intern who is out there, or someone who is a graduate who is out there, want to apply, just go to our website, Ecovest Consultants, ecovestconsultants.co.ke. You'll be able to find the information on how to apply. You can pick even our email there, info@ecovestconsultants.co.ke, so that you can be able to send your application. Yes, we provide those opportunities. I have currently 2 opportunities, sales intern as well as accounts intern.
Right.
Yeah, we provide opportunities. Our work is to transform this society. We want to ensure that we develop others. It was very difficult for us to find an opportunity for the development, and it was very tough. The opportunity that we got was so constricting and very restricting that we couldn't be able to get enough.
Right.
But now, because of that, I've decided to open our doors. Come so that we can be able to train you on how to do a better job.
Right.
Yes, we are open.
Impressive.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Dunga, for that insightful information dealing with the January blues. I hope people have got to learn one or two things on how to tame the blues that comes with the new month of January. And with that,